This will sound very strange, but Hurricane Ian that hit Florida and Hurricane Fiona that hit the east coast of Canada and Hurricane Merbok that hit the west coast of Alaska are all prophetic signs that are predicting the date that Kamala Harris will die in a plane crash. These prophetic hurricanes are revealing that Kamala Harris will die in a plane crash on November 7th, 2023. The date that this video is posted proves that this prediction was made ahead of time, as does this timestamped email and forensic notes PDF. If you are skeptical, please email me and I will forward these to you. It has been known since the autumn of 2020 that she will die in a plane crash. But as can be seen here in this email, it was known since August of 2021, and the purpose of this prediction for the death of Kamala Harris, and God's purpose with these prophetic hurricanes, is to prove that catastrophic man-made climate change is a fraud. This is the purpose of this prediction. It is the reason why God has given me a voice through this prediction. It is the reason for this video. And Harris's death in a plane crash on November 7th will once and for all prove that climate change is one massive fraud, mass hysteria, mass formation, false religion that is against the God of the Bible, the politicization of science, the end of true science, and symptomatic of the end of Western civilization. But it goes much deeper than this. Environmentalism and so-called catastrophic man-made climate change cannot be properly understood without a spiritual perspective. And this video will also explain why this fraud is happening. 110 days after June 7th, and Kamala Harris's prophetic announcement regarding the border wall of security was September 24th, the day that Hurricane Fiona hit the east coast of Canada. It was the most intense Category 4 Atlantic hurricane on record at such a northerly latitude. It was the record lowest pressure storm ever recorded in Canada, and it was the costliest weather event ever in Atlantic Canada. And God uses records like this to confirm his prophetic signs. The insurance agencies stated that the cost of this weather event was $660 million. In Bible prophecy, the number 666 is symbolism for the Antichrist, and the two Antichrists are described in the 66th book of the Bible. Also, from the Bible, the number 11 appears in context of execution of God's judgment. The number 11 symbolizes the execution of God's judgment. The 11th triangular number, which in a triangle of numbers, the last number in the 11th row is 66. This natural weather event hit on Canada on September 24th came just hours after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tweeted his approval and support for the Prime Minister of Israel's speech at the UN, which was the first UN speech ever by an Israeli Prime Minister talking about dividing the land of Israel into two states, which, according to Bible prophecy, is the biggest transgression that the nations will do, for which God will destroy these nations. At the time that Justin Trudeau issued his tweet, it was believed that Hurricane Fiona would veer off into the Atlantic, off to the east towards Bermuda. But right at that time, the hurricane took a sudden, unexpected north-northwest path towards Atlantic Canada. And it is also uncanny how the path of the destruction, the path of the storm, affected all 5 of the Atlantic Canada provinces, causing hundreds of thousands of people to be without power. In the account of Noah's flood, in the book of Genesis, God gave Noah a 7 days warning to load the ark before the flood judgment began, which was followed by 40 days of increasing floodwaters. Exactly 7 days before this storm hit Canada was the extremely prophetic storm that hit Alaska, the 49th state to join the Union, and Kamala Harris is the 49th vice president. On September 17th, which is explained in other videos, in the account of Noah's flood, the flood waters increased for 40 days, and 40 days exactly after Hurricane Fiona on September 24th was the day that NASA rolled out its Artemis space launch system onto the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And then 7 days later was the day that Hurricane Nicole, a surprise hurricane, hit the NASA Artemis space launch system on the launch pad, and the highest wind speeds for Hurricane Nicole were recorded at Kennedy Space Center. And this 7 days in between when Artemis was rolled out and when it was hit by Hurricane Nicole is a parallel with the 7 days warning that God gave Noah before the Noah's flood judgment began, before the destruction began in the flood. And Noah was warned 7 days in advance to load the ark, a ship, and Hurricane Nicole hit the spaceship on the launch pad 7 days after it was rolled out onto the launch pad. And this is a parallel pointing to, hinting at Kamala Harris's plane, a ship that will crash. And this destruction of the flood is described in Genesis 7:11, which is why it is exactly 11 months and 7 days after Hurricane Nicole hit the Artemis spaceship on the launch pad to the day it is predicted that Kamala Harris's plane, her ship, will fall from the sky and crash 3 sets of 7 days after the date October 17th, 1017, which hints at 2 1s and a 7, which hints at Genesis 7:11, and 3 sets of 7 days after the date 1017 is the date 11:7, which also hints at Genesis 7:11, as the date 11:7 outside of the US is written as 7:11. The explanation for why the 3 sets of 7 days and the prophetic signs that revealed adding 3 sets of 7 days that occurred on October 17th are explained in the must-watch Gaza explosion video, which is why it was 660 million in damages on the date September 24th, 924, which hints at 9 times 24 equals 216, and Barack Obama was born on the 216th day of the calendar year, and 216 is 6 times 6 times 6. The godless leftist ideologues that have been captivated by the propaganda and the mass hysteria, another mass formation, regarding supposed catastrophic climate change, will say that the reason for this storm is man-induced climate change. However, this is a lie from Satan. It is a false religion. Environmentalism has replaced Christianity in the West. It is the new religion. It is a religion. It is a form of pagan worship of the creation instead of the creator, and it is rooted in hate, which is why it is from Satan. That is the spiritual truth behind this false religion. The followers of this religion, in truth, hate people. The left is filled with hate, and that is the truth. And the reason why God has given me a voice through these predictions being made in this video is to prove this. Make no mistake, this is the reason for these predictions, and these predictions will prove what I have just said regarding environmentalism and climate change and the spiritual condition of those on the left that follow this. In the Bible, it is said that those that curse Israel will be cursed, and those that bless Israel will be blessed. It also says that Jerusalem and Israel are the apple of God's eye, and in the end times, the nations will come against Israel and seek to divide it and make Jerusalem an international city. And this will bring about the ultimate climax of all of history and the complete destruction of the nations that come against Israel. If, before having come to this video, you were a follower of the propaganda and the lies in the media regarding climate change and carbon dioxide, and you are now finally open-minded to listening to an alternative voice and listening to the many, many scientists that disagree, from which you are being censored and brainwashed into calling those that disagree climate deniers, dehumanization leading to genocide, a form of religious excommunication of these people from society, a form of moral blackmail in a totalitarian society. I will leave links in the description box below this video to more information. Okay, so the same thing happened with Hurricane Ian. Just like Hurricane Fiona was God's judgment for Justin Trudeau's tweet regarding dividing Israel, likewise, so was Hurricane Ian. At the time that Joe Biden issued his congratulations and supportive statement regarding the Israeli Prime Minister's speech at the UN, which no doubt Joe Biden had a hand in somehow with pressuring Israel to make such a speech. Nonetheless, at the time, right after Joe Biden made his supportive statement, was when the tropical remnant gathered steam quickly. It turned into a tropical storm and turned into Hurricane Ian. That's when Hurricane Ian began, right at that same time. So Hurricane Ian, there's much more to say, so much more to say regarding Hurricane Ian. It's for another video, though. I don't have time right now. It hit the 27th state to join the Union. 27 is 9 plus 9 plus 9, an emphasis of the number 9, which is the number in the Bible that symbolizes God's judgment, the most important number in God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections, which is only being explained on this channel. It was also the day that New York Yankees Aaron Judge, that's his last name, Judge, player number 99, tied the other New York Yankees player number 9, Roger Maris, for the most home runs in a season at 61. Roger Maris hit those 61 home runs in 1961, the year that Barack Obama was born. Barack Obama will become the president again and the Antichrist at the age of 61. And the number 61 is the 18th prime number, and 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6. But there's so much more to say. So that's all I have to say here. I'm just going to now play a clip from the Tiger Woods prophecy video. There is some overlap with the trucker segment. There will be some repetition, but bear with me here. And then after that, I will give you some more profound, astounding examples that were listed in the 2017 video regarding God using natural disaster destruction events on America in conjunction with America trying to divide Israel and also Europe. You'll see examples of Europe too. It's absolutely amazing. And for more information, I highly recommend a video which I will leave in the description box below this video, a video on another channel. There's much to say about this. It was in response, it came within hours of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's tweet congratulating and confirming his support for the speech that Israel's Prime Minister had just given at the United Nations regarding making Israel a two-state, dividing Israel, judgment from God. Much more to say regarding this. The reason for this storm was in response to Justin Trudeau's tweet regarding dividing Israel, the biggest transgression the nations will do in the end times period, according to Bible prophecy. And so there's more to say to that, but that's enough. In other words, what I am saying is that this prediction disproves the worldview, the religion of environmentalism and climate change. It's all a lie from Satan, and this prediction proves this. This lie from Satan that carbon dioxide, what humans exhale, is going to cause catastrophic consequences for the globe. There's much more to say, but it is a lie from Satan. It is anti-human. Satan hates humans that are in the image of God, and the spiritual truth of those that are followers of this environmentalism religion also hate humans. The thinly veiled truth is that they are full of hate, and this is why this antichrist satanic religion of environmentalism that the godless left is captivated by. That is the spiritual root of it, and it can only be understood through a spiritual perspective. This is the reason for the nonsense and there's so much to say. It's also an economic, ideological civil war by the digital class, the class that is far removed from the means of production. It is a civil war on conservatives and Christians, but it is also a civil war of the laptop class versus the working class. And it is the left that is waging war on the others. And it's all leading to genocide, but it's persecution of those that don't, it's moral blackmail too. And it's persecution of those that don't agree with this religion. It's also anti-human, which is ultimately why the root of this is Satan. This notion that the world is overpopulated, a myth, the Malthusian myth that has been debunked many, many times for 100 years or more. This anti-humanism religion is rooted in Satan because Satan hates man. And man in this religion is responsible for doing the evil. Man is the parasite. Man is the problem. Man is destroying the world. This is the opposite of the righteous Christian God of the Bible, in which man is created in God's image, and the center of the universe is earth, and the center of God's creation is man. And God would not have designed a world in which supposedly oil and fossil fuels would destroy the planet through man's use. In the biblical worldview, God put the oil under the earth for the purpose of jump-starting and catapulting civilization, providing cheap energy that does not destroy the planet. God would not have designed such a planet, and every reasonable person can understand that logic anyway. Whether the question is whether the God of the Bible is true or not, and the creation or the earth and man is an accident, and man is just another animal, and therefore, because of its dominance, is polluting the planet, which is Marxist, really, this worldview in which power is the allocation of power is all that matters. And Marxism is also rooted in Satanism, or Satan. It is from the devil as well. And so we can see, actually, environmentalism is communism in disguise. And the leaders of this movement fully know this. They know this full well, that this is the road to communism. The hardcore radical left communists use climate change and environmentalism as propaganda to propagandize the masses, the uneducated masses that do not have a biblical worldview and any wisdom, because as the Bible says, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God, which is why the left has no wisdom.
Genesis 12:3. Genesis 12:3, quote, I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the peoples of the earth will be blessed through you, quote. Zechariah 2. For thus says the Lord of hosts, quote, After glory he has sent me against the nations which plunder you. For he who touches you touches the apple of his eye, quote. The following are just a few amazing examples of this. The day of the epic destructive floods in Paris peaked on June 3, 2016. This same day in Paris was held the Middle East Peace Conference to discuss what to do about Israel without Israel in attendance, and Israel formally rejecting the talks. The day before, when Secretary of State John Kerry flew to France for the talks, a Navy Blue Angels jet crashed in Nashville, and a USAF Thunderbirds jet crashed in Colorado. These are ceremonial precision jets, and they are not supposed to ever crash. The Thunderbird jet crashed seconds after flying over Barack Obama's commencement speech, and both jets were number 6 in their squads. In the Bible, the number 6 symbolizes man and human weakness, the evils of Satan, and the manifestation of sin. It is the number of imperfection in man's work, and it implies man's existence without God. The day of the worst natural disaster in U.S. history, Hurricane Katrina, was the same day Israel completed the Gaza withdrawal, which was pressured by the U.S. The odds of a hurricane the magnitude of Katrina hitting New Orleans so precisely as to cause maximum damage were exceedingly low. This same day was also the 9th of Av. It was also the scheduled day for the nation's most debauched and depraved gay festival called Southern Decadence, or, quote, Gay Mardi Gras, quote. In 1981, on the same day that the first, quote, Land for Peace, quote, conference took place in Madrid, led by George H.W. Bush, the monster storm and original, quote, perfect storm, quote, for which a movie was made, spared nobody's property along the entire east coast of North America. 1 year later, right when the talks resumed in D.C., the worst natural disaster in U.S. history to that point hit Florida with Hurricane Andrew. The worst month of severe weather in U.S. history, which you can confirm on Wikipedia, began on the same day that the Quartet of the Middle East, U.S., Russia, EU, and UN, met for the first time to discuss what to do about Israel, ultimately how to take land from Israel. The day was April 30th, 2003, and in 1 week there was 401 tornadoes in 19 states, eclipsing the old record of 171 in 1 week. Also, 1,587 severe hailstorms and 740 damaging windstorms. Right after, Europe had its worst heat wave in 250 years, and 52,000 people died. The leader of the quartet, Tony Blair, first went to Israel on July 23, 2007. This was also the same day the global financial meltdown began, when during this week the premium paid by banks for borrowing money precipitated the financial liquidity crisis that could not be stopped.
Aliens and UFOs are demons masquerading as aliens and UFOs. Most people's spiritual experiences are demonic deception, especially if they are not a true follower of Christ. God became a man and died a horrible death at the hand of the ruler of this world, Satan, and then defeated death for you, so that you too can overcome death, which is the price that must be paid for sin. It is time to repent, which means to change one's ways and turn to God and become a disciple of Jesus. Please leave a like and upvote the video. And once this prediction has come to pass, share this video with everyone you know, and more. Don't stop sharing it everywhere in social media. It is essential that everyone immediately read the homepage of my website, TrumpPrediction.com. If you are watching this on the YouTube platform, please note that not all of the videos are on YouTube. You need to switch to the BitChute.com or the Odyssey.com channel. And do it now in case you aren't able to later.